Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to Commodity TV and a new episode of our online interview series. We want to talk, for the first time to MTB Metals, and the CEO and President Lawrence Roulston is here with us. Good morning to Canada. How are you, Lawrence?
I'm great. I'm great. What a pleasure to be back here with you.
Yeah, thank you very much. I think it's a good 3 to 4 years when we saw us the last time. Thanks to Corona. But anyhow, this is a fantastic chance to talk. And as said, you are now MTB Metals, the CEO and President. So, can you give us a short little overview on the company before we dive into details?
Yeah, MTB is an exploration company focused exclusively on the Golden Triangle in northern BC. When I got involved about 4 years ago, I set off to accumulate as much ground as we could. We now have 700 square kilometers of mineral rights in the Golden
Wow.
Triangle. We're one of the biggest property holders up there. And that region has emerged as one of the most important mining regions in the world. So we're well positioned and have some very, very exciting projects, which we're currently working on.
Yeah, super. Yeah, I saw that also in your presentation. You have 7 projects you are exploring now, but I think the top pick, or let's say the flagship project, is Telegraph. So what is Telegraph about?
Well, Telegraph is a porphyry copper gold prospect. And the Golden Triangle is famous for big porphyries. There are several already have been outlined. In fact, there are four big porphyry copper gold deposits very close to our Telegraph project, all of which are being advanced by majors. One of them is already in production. And you might ask, well, if this was so good, why was it overlooked when there was so much activity?
Yeah.
And the simple answer is that the property was fractured. It was explored literally by 50 different companies over a period of decades,
Okay.
each looking at little pieces. And it wasn't until we pulled together the information from all those companies, all those little pieces, and looked at it as one big picture that we could really see what this thing was. It wasn't a bunch of small occurrences. It was one humongous geological system. And so after we saw that, we set off to consolidate the ground position. We consolidated 310 square kilometers of mineral rights, and we've had 2 field seasons now to build on that work that was done previously. And we're really liking what we're seeing.
Okay, super. So you have put, it looks to me like a 500 to 1000 pieces puzzle, which you have put together. I saw it also in your
Yes.
presentation. I like the comparison, honestly. And so you said you have already 2 field seasons done. So what have you achieved at Telegraph so far? And what is the, let's say, the plan you want to achieve until year end?
Well, look, one of the previous operators drilled 2 holes in 2014. And those holes were based on a geochemical anomaly and a subtle chargeability geophysical anomaly. They got results that demonstrated, confirmed it's a porphyry copper gold system. They were mineralized top to bottom to about 400, 450 meters with copper and gold, but low grade, sub-economic grades. So our first field season, we got up and we re-examined the core that's up there on site. We could see very clearly that these holes are in a porphyry, but they're on the periphery of the porphyry. So we spent the next 2 field seasons looking for the heart of that system. And we found an area 2 to 3 kilometers away where we're finding better than a percent copper, numbers as high as 19% copper on surface. The past field season, we tested it with induced polarization, an IP geophysical survey, and we found a large annular chargeability anomaly that exactly aligns with the high grades of copper. And it also ties in with magnetics and a number of other techniques that we've used to help vector. So it's looking very much like a very high priority target, and we're about to drill test that.
Oh, okay. So will you drill test this already this year?
No, we're in the field right now. We've got the team up there, and The first part of the field season is devoted to fine tuning the drill targets.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So we've got a target, but we want to know exactly where that bullseye is before we bring the drill on. So
Mm-hmm.
we're expecting to start drilling in August, and between now and then, the crew are in the field and they're ground truthing a lot of the science that we've been doing over the past couple of years,
Mm-hmm.
looking to fine tune that drill plan.
Mm-hmm. Okay, super. I saw also that you are a little bit there. Let's say comparing Telegraph with the Saddle project from GT Gold. So what are the similarities? Why can you say, boy, that really looks like this huge deposit which Newmont bought, I think for 300-400 million dollars, right, in 2021.
Yeah, it was over $400 million was the
Mm-hmm.
value of that transaction.
Mm-hmm.
And look, we're in the same area. We've got exactly the same geology, the same rocks, the same ages
Mm-hmm.
of rocks. We're seeing an alteration footprint that's actually much bigger than the alteration footprint for the Saddle deposit. And all the other geological ingredients are pointing to it being an analog for GT Gold.
Mm-hmm.
Now, GT from the time they went public until the takeover by Newmont
Mm-hmm.
was 4 years.
Mm-hmm.
And we're heading into our third year. So putting this in a
Mm-hmm.
perspective.
Wow.
Now, I really like this comparison because it's exactly the same story unfolding.
Mm-hmm.
And the value of MTB Metals at this moment is about 2.5% of the value of GT Gold in that takeover.
Mm-hmm.
So
Mm-hmm.
it's a demonstration of the upside potential if we're able to demonstrate what we deeply believe to be there, which is another big porphyry copper gold system.
Okay, super. I think after, let's say, fine tuning and yeah, the mapping, the geophysical survey, etc. So with the drill start, hopefully next year then. But what do you think you need to drill at least? How many meters? Do you have already a little bit of an idea of what needs to be done then to get, yeah, more meat on the bone, I would say.
Yeah, so next month when we start drilling,
Hmm.
we know generally where we're going to drill. We've got the targets lined up.
Hmm.
Um, over the winter, we did a lot of very sophisticated geoscience. We had hundreds of samples, and we've done multi-element
Hmm.
assays on them. We've done shortwave infrared spectroscopy, which is a very valuable tool in vectoring within a hydrothermal system. It's an alteration mapping. So we've done all of that, and it pointed to a target. So now we've got the crew out there. They've got an XRF device, which gives a good approximation of copper content in the rock. It's not as accurate as an assay, but it gives us a pretty good approximation. So the crew are out there with the XRF. They're looking very closely at the target area and looking at structure and all the other variables that they can look at to determine where to set that drill rig and the orientation for that drill hole.
Hmm.
So we're expecting to do 2 or 3 thousand meters this year.
Hmm.
We're going to get at least one of the holes a bit deeper than those earlier holes, and we're very hopeful that we're going to hit something meaningful in this. Look,
Hmm.
it's the sort of situation in the Golden Triangle, in the same rocks as four nearby world-class discoveries,
Hmm.
and all of the other indicators, the geophysics, the geochemistry, the alteration, everything else
Hmm.
pointing to it being another big system. It's there. It's down there is the target, the prize.
Hmm.
We just want to make absolutely certain we're going to get good results on these first few holes.
Yeah, fully understood. And I think you also did a private placement. So, what is cash in the bank? Meaning, are you financed to do that, and also financed, let's say, for next year?
We raised $2 million in this last financing.
Hmm.
And we had about 1.5 million working capital going into that. So we're well over $3 million of working capital
Hmm.
right now,
Hmm.
which is more than enough for this program. Um, it would be great to have more money and a bigger cushion, but it was a balance of raising money at a low share price
Hmm.
versus having enough to do the program.
Hmm.
So we've got enough to do this program, and we would hope to get results out of these initial holes
Hmm.
that will provide support for a higher share price and a more favorable financing
Hmm.
for a bigger program next year.
Hmm. Yeah, absolutely, and hopefully also a better market because that helps also a lot.
Well, yeah, the market is terrible. It's summer
Nightmare.
doldrums on top of a bad market, and I think we did well to raise as much money as we did. And but look, the fundamentals for copper right now
Hmm.
are overwhelming. And all the big base metal companies are scrambling for copper deposits. Even the gold companies are looking to get into into copper if they're not already. Barrick,
Hmm.
for example, just announced a big expansion on their copper mine in Africa
Hmm.
as an indicator of how much the mining industry is looking to replace copper deposits because of the growing demand for this forward-looking metal.
Hmm. Yeah, absolutely. Who are your largest shareholders? What has management skin in the game?
Well, management has at least 25% of the company.
Hmm.
Uh, Two large shareholders are Eric Sprott and Ross Beatty. And so we're all very closely aligned with all the other shareholders.
Hmm.
We
Okay.
are we're working for the shareholders because we are among the biggest shareholders in the company.
Yourself. Hmm. Yeah, that's really important. Maybe we have spoken a lot now about Telegraph, so maybe we can talk about your other projects just a little bit to go over it. Southmore, is that something you want to work also this year, or you say, well, now let's focus on Telegraph and we maybe do the rest next year when we have a better market and raise more money?
Well, our corporate strategy right now actually is to find joint venture partners
Hmm. Ah,
on
okay.
all of these secondary projects.
Hmm.
And we've had a huge amount of interest in these projects. They've all got indicators of large scale discovery potential. They're all in the Golden Triangle. They've all had enough work to show that there's something there worth going after. But in this market, the companies that we're talking to aren't able to secure the financing they need to
Hmm.
do the projects. We don't want to give them up unless we're getting something in return. What we want more than anything is for companies to come in and do work on the projects and
Hmm.
advance them because we will retain ownership in the projects.
Hmm. Yeah, makes
So
it.
we
Yeah,
don't need to
sorry.
do anything. They're all in good shape
Hmm.
in terms of assessment work, everything else.
Hmm.
And we're still hopeful. We've got companies that want to do something, and it's just a matter of them securing the financing.
Hmm. Okay, super. You said 700 square kilometers is your land holding, so that's really big for, let's say, a small company. So what are your holding costs per annum?
Well, it's several $100,000 of
Hmm.
work requirements.
Ah, okay.
There's
Hmm.
no underlying, well, one part of the Telegraph has an underlying obligation,
Hmm.
but we'll easily meet that. But the
Hmm.
amount of work that we've done over the last few years puts all of these projects in really good shape going forward.
Hmm.
We have no obligations at this moment to do anything on
Hmm.
any of these projects.
Okay, super, perfect. So when does the news flow start then? After your drilling, what do you think? September, October?
Yeah, we'll have a lot of news between now and
Okay,
September.
that's good.
Um, a joint venture partner actually on one of the projects has
Hmm.
completed a drilling program,
Hmm.
and we'll have assays on that over the next week or two.
Hmm.
I haven't seen the numbers, but I'm hopeful. The earlier work on the project has indicated that there's something there of real significance.
Hmm.
And I'm hopeful we're going to get other joint ventures in the near term. the field crew have the XRF in the field. They're accomplishing an enormous amount. We're, working off a very solid base of information.
Mhm,
So we're going to get further news. And then, of course, the start of drilling is something that's going to get a lot of attention.
mhm,
So after we start drilling, yeah, probably October, November by the time we get assays. But
mhm,
with a copper system, we'll see if there's something there of
mhm,
significance.
mhm. Okay, super. Well, Lawrence, thank you very much for your time. That was great to talk. And yeah, wish you well, of course. And yeah, please hit us with very good drill results.
I'm working on it. We're doing everything we can to get some good results for all the shareholders and all the potential shareholders. Look
Exactly.
forward to keeping you and your listeners up to date. Thanks
Yep.
very much.
That would be great. Thank you very much. Yeah, ladies and gentlemen, that was Lawrence Roulston, the president and CEO of MTB Metals. And you heard it, the company is working in elephant territory, the Golden Triangle in British Columbia, with fantastic projects already there producing mines. We have several times done moderations and reported about that. And yeah, it looks really great. The drills will turn very soon here, and the company will produce a lot of news flow. And yeah, don't forget, the share price still is cheap because of the markets. It looks really favorable. 7 projects they have. The Telegraph is the flagship one. And yeah, we look forward to some good drill results hopefully soon here. And check it out. Thanks for watching us, and bye bye from Switzerland.